Hello, and welcome to ARK, the complete series. Well, it looks like it's a sunny day out there, except it's raining, and it's raining a lot. It's been raining for quite a while, oddly enough. I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of like reminds me of the island where it just regularly rains. But anyway, we've been busy. Yes, we've got ourselves more Shadowmane because I want to do some breeding of these things. But one thing I'll say is that I've actually managed to also get one of the missions done. It was life support. That one, I must admit, was a bit sneaky because you can take a mount in. It says there 1 mounted tame allowed per player. But yeah, I was scratching my head for a while thinking there might be a limit or something because I couldn't get my Rex to go in. So I had to go around searching for the maps for one of my Reapers because it had gone missing. Came back and that's when I realised you've actually got to be on the mount when the mission starts, otherwise your mount doesn't join. So yeah, I thought that was a bit sneaky. That caught me out a couple of times. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm sure you can take a mount into that one. But I still need to do this one, choose your own adventure. That one's proving a real pain, I must admit, because I keep getting hassled by flyers. So it looks like I'm going to need to get the soups and some better armour really, because most of the missions I've done, I've really just bothered with, you know, this sort of gear that you get here, and I've just about got away with it in that life support one. But yeah, I'm going to have to get myself proper armour, I think, for the next one. And there is still Bulldog Fetch and Maywing Porch to do, but I think that will then be it, enough to do Rockwell. Yeah, that looks like so there's just the 3 of them left. I thought there was one more, but it looks like it's just those 3. Anyway, the plan is to breed these beasties. So I'm going to see which one, because they've all got different stats. Because I must admit, the hardest thing I've been finding for taming these is catching the fish. It takes forever to get fish. I've been getting ones above 1.1 basically, and for the quality, that is. The levels, I don't think the levels matter. I think it's debatable whether it's the size as well, but yeah, the quality seems to be very important. But it takes forever and a day to do that, I must admit. And then when I went out looking for Shadowmane, they are quite tricky to find, so I thought, oh well, I'll use the dino scan. Yeah, if we have a look on here, they show up as lionfish, and I'm going to have a look and see if it's like it was last time I saw it. Yeah, there's a lot of these are above like 130, which is interesting. Usually on these sort of maps you end up with like a lot of low level ones, but there's a lot of them were above 130, so I got a bit of a mixture. So I know that I've got the original one I got was a okay. The original one I got was 145 mil. Now, let's have a look. So there's a... I haven't said that, no, I think it was a 150 female was my original one. Wondering which one of these it is. Could be this one here. I think this is her here. Yeah, so she's actually... She's actually throwing me for a loop. So she's, oddly enough, she doesn't have the best stats, and I'm wondering why I've actually got her included in that. Because I'm not going to breed her then in that case. Then I've got this male here. So let's see. So he's now level 216. So he must have been one of the 145s. So I've got 2 145 males. Yeah, so he's got the highest health, which is 7590. He's also got the highest weight as well, so that's why I wanted to breed him. And I've got this female here now. She's a 135 female, but she's got the highest melee damage. Ah, that was it. Yes, now I remember. Originally, she had the highest melee of 324, getting on 325, but now that I found this one, she's a 135 and she's got 354 melee damage. And then I've got this male here who's 145. So he's got the highest stamina of all of them. So I don't really want to be breeding her in that case, because her stats don't quite make it now. So I'll put her to one side. And what we'll do is we'll get these two to breed, because I want to get all of the best stats out of all of them. Now, you lot have a really good way of timing these, don't you? There's one thing I've noticed: you can get different types of armour. I'm sure I used to get higher levels of armour, but they all seem to be 80. And then that one's got ramshackle. That one's got ramshackle, so they're both level 80. Ramshackle as well. Ah, there you go. So this one's got an apprentice one, but it's armor class 80. So I don't think it makes any difference. There's nothing about, like, I mean, it's natural armor. It's not like a saddle that like wears out or anything. So, but I don't know if we can improve that at all as part of the breeding. I mean, obviously I want to get all the best stats out of those three that I've got, 2 males and the female. But mutations would be good. Now that does take a long time, I must admit. But I'm curious to see what happens with those armour saddles that they've got, the natural armour. Whether you get potentially better armour, or whether it just stays the same. Whether, you know, when you breed them, does one head as a pair and pass on its type? Like, will we end up with all of them having ramshackle, for instance, or can we get some of them that are apprentice? I'm not quite sure. I'm just curious to find out. And then of course there's all the different colours, because I mean this one's it's mostly a red colouring to that one, mixture of green. It's not a mostly green one. Be interesting to see what kind of colours we can get, and they'll come out as part of the mutations. So I need to get these two breeding to begin with, and then once I get the best stats out of those two, we'll bring him in to get the stamina. Ah, well, I've actually got my first male breeder out of these two here. So I started breeding those two, and I ended up with this one. And I must admit, I thought I'd got a mutation in melee, because the melee is at 355. You can see we've got a mutation there. I'm thinking, oh cool, we've already got a mutation in melee, but it's only slightly higher than the 354 that we already had. Then this one popped out, and this dude is much better because he's got the health. Not too fussed about the fact that he's got the highest food, but he's also got the highest weight, and he's got the highest melee, so his is 355 as well, but he doesn't have any mutations. So I think this one ended up with a mutation in health, 4290, because her health's only 3960. Oops. Versus the male here, which is 7590. So I think actually that mutation came out in health. But, well, it's no use to me, but I do like the colour, man. The green that's been added in because of that. I mean, that's pretty good colour. So, although I'm not really going to need this one for breeding, I might keep it to one side for the colour. Because you've got those nice, like, green frills there. They're very cool. What's with everybody pooping? So, now... Ah. Yeah. That's... Yeah, because the... That's going to be a bit of a problem because the male here is the one that's got the high stamina. In which case I'm going to have to breed him. I'll have to breed him with her. Because then at least I might be able to combine the stamina and the melee to get a female. And then I can breed that female with this dude here. Yeah, that is a bit tricky. It's always fun breeding. Well, so far, this is actually turning out to be my lucky day, so let's hope this continues. Because the first kitty that those two had is a female. And she's got stamina, and she's got the melee. So, I'm going to now breed these two together to try to get all of those stats in a breeding pair. But I'm going to just double check that none of them have got mutations, because I don't want any of those until we've actually got a full breeding pair. So, yeah, neither of them have got that. Now, both of these I've noticed have got ramshackle armour. I mean, I don't honestly think it really makes any difference at all, because there's no like durability or anything. So they just end up with 80 armour regardless. So I'm not really sure what that was intended to be. Because I mean, the father here has got apprentice armour, but
hello, you.
Yeah, not really sure about manners. Anyway, we'll get breeding these two until we get ourselves a breeding pair. So it took 2 goes. The first kitties that I got, I actually got a pair of twins from these two, but they were, well, yeah, I think they got the worst stats of both parents, to be honest. And then we've got this one here, so she's going to be my female breeder, it seems, because she's got, yeah, she's got the high health and she's got the stamina. Interesting enough, she's got the highest food, although it's not all that necessary. She's got the highest weight and she's got the melee, and she doesn't have any mutations. So I'm going to swap these two out then, and I'll get those two breeding. Hello, I just realised they're glowing in the dark, these. Cool. Yeah, they glow in the dark. Right, let's grab her. So basically she's got the stamina that he doesn't have, but he's got the other 3 stats, so yeah, fingers crossed. Shouldn't take me too long to either get a male that we can then use as the main breeder, or who knows, I might get slightly different, because they will have some other differences in their stats. So it just depends on what we get out of the rest of them. I thought as much. So this is interesting actually, because first little kitty they have, I had a look at their stats and they're pretty much identical. The only difference is the female, she's got the higher stamina. And while I was looking at them, I noticed something. So just pause the video and have a look and see if there's something odd here. Because I didn't spot it at first, and it's like, hold on, where's the oxygen stat? There's no oxygen stat. Because I'm scratching my head because I had a look at these two, I mean, he's 231, she's 252. And yet all of the stats are identical except for the stamina. She's got a higher stamina level. And I'm thinking, that's a big, like, level difference. Now, this little dude's popped out, and he's only level 234, but he's got all the stats I was looking for. So he's got the 7590 health, 1890 in stamina, 6600 in food, 7390 in weight, and 355 in melee. And he doesn't have any mutations, but he's level 234, whereas she's level 252. I'm thinking, so the oxygen stat's there, it's just being ignored. Now, that is unusual, because I've gone around and haven't spotted any of them that have got an oxygen stat yet. So that's a bit odd. I mean, I suppose it's because they can, I mean, you know, they're water creatures basically, but they don't have an oxygen stat. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, you're not following. Yeah, he says no oxygen stat shows up. Curiouser and curiouser. But it means like the levels are out of sync. It'll be difficult to spot sort of like mutations. Once I get like around like breeding for mutations, it'll be a lot harder to spot a mutation if you keep getting like different levels pop out just because of that feature, shall we say. And what I need is a male and a female that have got the same level. So I mean, I suppose I could. What are you? You're a male, so I could breed him with her. Because then those stats will be different. The only difference, shall we say, will be the fact that it looks like this one's got less oxygen, although it's just a disabled or hidden stat. Having said that, we'll wait until this next one pops out, because if this turns out to be a 252 male, I might just go with that. On the other hand, I might get a 234 female, in which case those will be the breeder. So we'll see what we get out of this pair here. It's not going to take too long, and then hopefully we'll be able to sort it out. But we're pretty close. I mean, we're almost there in terms of getting a breeding pair. Well, I think I've kind of like lost the plot now. These two, yeah. I've ended up with two level 241s, so presumably these two, I mean, they've got the same stats that I'm interested in. All of these stats here, they're all the same, so I can only assume they must have different oxygen levels, but that's a big gap. Now, I was either expecting two 234s or two 252s, and somehow I've ended up with something in the middle, which is two 241s. So I'm not quite sure what on earth's going on here, so I'm just double checking. So 7590, 1890, 6600, 739 and 355. And they don't have any mutations. So 7590, 1890, 6600, 739 and 355. So yeah, so I've ended up with two 241s. I mean, they've got the same colours, because all of these colours, just as luck would turn out, they all end up the same basically. But I mean, I could start mixing colours in, but then I thought, actually, when you start doing mutations anyway, you end up with different colours depending on like the mutation that you get. I mean, the only ones I'll be interested in are health and melee. I mean, that could take a long time. I mean, I might just go with just a basic set of Shadowmanes and just maybe take them back to the island and level them up for when we go up against Rockwell, for example. But may as well do something. So I'm just curious though to see what happens if I I'll just change their names. So no, I don't want to spare them. That would be really embarrassing. So actually, which one are you? So this is the female. So now you're the female, really. I mean, I thought the other one was because she had all the right stats, so that hidden stat just really threw me for a loop. So you're the male reader. And we'll get these two to get jiggy with it. Because I just want to make sure that I do end up with a level 241s, otherwise it's going to be a bit weird if there's something going on here. As I say, I still can't quite figure out why I didn't get two 234s or two 252s, because presumably the only difference is this hidden oxygen stat. But somehow we've ended up with something in the middle, which is very unusual. Anyway, let these two get on with it and see what we get. Right, well that seems to be sorted then. So all their offspring are going to be level 241, so whatever that oxygen stat is, I've no idea. Oh, I haven't said that. Ah, I could have found out through there. Oxygen 495. Ahaha! I should have thought of that before. But this dude, he's fully imprinted, so he's got a higher level in health. So that's pretty high, that actually. Food's higher as a result, the weight's higher and the melee is higher. So the stamina isn't. Curiosity, we'll see what we get. Actually I'll stop these because I need them to produce an army and just... I mean the plan is to get sort of mutations out of these if I can. But I'll get them to breed me an army. And I'll just try them without any. If we get some mutations along the way, that's great. Just double check. I don't think this one has any. Yes, just out of curiosity, I want to see, because sometimes unless you get a level, you don't get the full. So like stats showing up. I mean, I must admit it doesn't have much in the way of health, so I'm going to be a bit careful as to what I take on here. There you go, so you got a level. Ooh, 2 levels. Ooh, cool. So, probably want to put that into melee. So if I give you 1 level. Okay, so that didn't go up. So really, that was pretty much it. Okay. What do we get if we put that into health? Oh, wow. Cool, so we've almost got 10,000 health. So we'll take this one back to base because it's going to need leveling, and I need a lot more of these to use them against Rockwell. As I say, I mean, we'll see if we get any mutations along the way. But I just out of curiosity, I just want to see what they're like against Rockwell without going through all that trouble of a long time of breeding and getting the mutations. I mean, I'd normally do that on, you know, things like the island and what have you. But I'm curious to see what gamma level's like for Rockwell in comparison, because obviously it's the first time I'll have used like Shadowmanes, for instance. So yeah, quite a lot more breeding to do. Okay, and lo and behold, it's raining again. I'm keeping a close eye on that Bronto over there because it's really getting on my nerves. I mean, it's been bouncing around up there, now it's bouncing around down there. You get a lot of vibration because the settings I've got. It's like the entire camera shakes. Oh, it drives you nuts. But I think I've done enough breeding for now. I didn't get any useful mutations. I mean, I got 2. I got a stamina and I got a weight one, but no, nothing particularly interesting. But one thing I have found is the armor can actually change. So this one, for instance, this one's got primitive armor, which is interesting. So all of these, as far as I was aware, they've all got... Ah, that's interesting. So yeah, so as I say, it does vary. At first I thought they were all just ramshackle ones, but they're not. This one got an apprentice. So what I did is I bred up more females. As soon as I started getting females, I started keeping those to speed the whole process up. But you can see, I mean, this one's got a ramshackle one. Oh, she's got the apprentice one. It's mostly either of those 2 that I've got. Ah, so you ended up with a primitive one as well. Oh, interesting. But it does obviously seem to vary, but as I say, I don't know if it has any real effect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head back, because I've got quite a lot of spares, because I'm trying to split the team 50-50. So that's number 9's there, so this should be number 10. Yeah, that's female number 10. So that's all I've noticed so far, is either the ramshackle, the primitive, or the other one, the apprentice. That was the apprentice, ramshackle, and their primitive. So I haven't seen anything going higher than that. I don't know what it's based on. So I haven't gotten anything like Journeyman or Mastercraft or Ascendant, for example. But as I said, I don't think it really makes any difference. But I've now got 10 males over here, 10 females over there. And just wondering if I've got enough meat left, or are we running out now? Oh, I've still got enough in there. So I'm just going to basically keep these over here. I've got to wait until you all wake up, because I brought them over in cryopods. So I'll have to wait until their torpor wears off and they wake up. And then I think it's going to be a case of, I mean, I've got a terminal outside of here. So I'll probably end up taking them all over to the island, although it'll take me a long time to get enough eggs from, say, like gigas. It's a bit quicker if you use spinos, for example. I think it's usually spinos tend to be the best option, unless you're like really looking, you've got like a lot of gigas to create a lot of eggs, but even still they take a long time to hatch and so on. So yeah, I think it's going to take me quite a while to level 20 of these things. I've called them the kitty crew. So yeah, 10 males, 10 females, and the plan is we'll be using these that don't have any mutations, just the stats that we found when I went out to get those 4 that we've been using to breed. So since that's going to take a while, I'll have to start focusing a bit more on these missions somehow. I mean, Bulldog Fetch and Maywing Poach, I still think that's a bit tricky, because although I've got, I think it was Bill that I kept, or was it Ben? It's Ben. Okay, so Ben's the one that's got the levels, but he's only got pretty low level saddle, and I haven't found a decent one so far in my travels. I think I might still try him, because I mean, worst case, I can always just exit the game. If you exit the game, it pulls you out the mission anyway, so yeah. You can always like run away as well, put me into a cryopod and so on. So I can always salvage that, so it might be worth trying those 2, you never know. It's just because you're going up against like level 150 dinos, so they can be pretty brutal, I think. Especially when you talk about like Thylacoleos, for example. Incidentally, I've been getting myself some dung beetles as well, because yeah, I could really do with fertilizer. There you go. So we're starting to produce those, because I was starting to run out of vegetables. I was thinking, why am I not getting enough vegetables? And I forgot I didn't fully automate this. So just these two alone, since I've been doing all this breeding, we've been getting a lot of fertilizer out of these things. So I've tamed these two up. One's a 145, one's a 150. So you've now got 8 levels. So let's put that into your weight. So you'll be able to get more fertilizer, more dung rather. Because this is S+, I've got this aggregator over here. It's picking up all the poop. And I'll now be sending it to the dung beetles, whereas before I was having to manually put that into all of these crop plots. But now that's all getting automated. And I've even got all my vegetables getting pulled out from here. So what's that one for? Well, that's the fertilizer one. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, it should make my life a lot easier, get more vegetables, because as I say, I think that other mission that I need to do, which was, find it again, it's in here somewhere, choose your own adventure. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get some decent armour for that, plus the soups as well. And for those soups we're going to need the vegetables, plus all sorts of other things. But at least now we've got our little Shadowmane army more or less ready to go, just a case of levelling them. And then we can start thinking about other things to do on this map. But of course, that's all for another episode.